Hi, welcome back to FutureFast. And as you can see, we have a special guest with us and a very special guest with us today. But before I get on to introducing her, for those who already are not familiar with her, uh, first, and for those of you who are for the first time into this podcast, FutureFast is an effort to bring in people who are working or doing things that are potentially going to have an impact on the future, and also we'll discuss about what are the things they're doing in terms of being able to prepare for it, and take some pointers and tips that we could potentially use in our own businesses or life as how we can prepare for a future. And also the whole effort is that can we get down to riding the future than being led otherwise. So having said that, I hope you will enjoy it as much as I'm looking forward to this conversation. This is Gayatri. Gayatri, welcome to Future Fast. And I'd just like to give one line introduction because uh, that would still not suffice to understand or to know a little more about Gayatri. So we'll get to Gayatri talk about where she comes from, but she's the founder of Waste Impact. And Waste Impact is once again an effort that essentially uh, it starts with a hackathon and getting multiple stakeholders to come together and dive into where the waste gets created and work towards addressing it, building technologies around it, and eventually taking it into making it a company so that it becomes a self-sustained enterprise addressing a waste problem. So this is what Waste Impact has been doing for at least last 6, 7 years, and as of today, maybe 7, 8 companies are being incubated. We'll get the details in the course of our conversation with Gayatri. So Gayatri, where do
Thank
we
you,
start?
Hannah.
Where do you start?
Where do I start? From the very
Start from
beginning.
yes.
From the very beginning. So I was born in 1949 to the just then commissioned army officer who was, from a poor background. He fought in the independence, both as a Gandhian. He was part of Gandhian movement. Plus, at the same time, he was doing a whole lot of underground activities like bombing, British efforts to get
So you
more.
can leave the Gandhian part. He
Yeah.
truly believed in
Both he did. He believed in both.
making India free.
Okay. Yes. And so after independence, he joined the army. And that is another great story. But then, so soon after.
But of course, what we will do is his autobiography has been published. We will share the link, and believe me, it's better than any of the Bollywood movies you would have watched. It has everything: action, romance, adventure, and all lot of
can you imagine
hero things.
a young man
please read it.
wearing a dhoti and killing a cheetah with a broomstick? I mean, it is that exciting. My life
so
is
we'll
nothing.
share that link on that, and please pick it up. And ideally, I think we should make a movie of it, but that's a conversation. Otherwise, please continue it.
Yes. So I'm born to a poor family. And my father, of course, as I said, he was in the army. And so I was born in Shivamogga. My mother belongs to this village called Matturu, which is very famous as a Sanskrit-speaking
village.
But
so do you speak Sanskrit?
Well, I can understand some of it. And even Matturu, let me state, people may not like it. It's not that it is spoken as an everyday language. Of course, most of the Matturu population, especially the elderly, are into teaching Vedas and Upanishads and puja, doing and all those things. So therefore, they are comfortable with Sanskrit, but I'm sure the younger generation are now in the US, in IT, in other various industries. So I'm not too sure, but yes, maybe we're more comfortable with Sanskrit than others would be. But I don't know whether that's a great thing, chip on my shoulder. No, I wouldn't say that. But I was born, and but soon after I was born, my father was posted to Lucknow, and therefore that vagabondism started from then. And first place I went to after my birth was Lucknow, and then Agra, and Jodhpur, and J&K, Belgaum, and I studied in Bangalore also, Calcutta. I mean, I've been brought up all over the country.
Yeah, in Bangalore, you're my
Then,
super senior.
I'm now 74, by the way. Yeah, 74 plus now. So that's how I was brought up, both as a conservative person from a conservative family, but also as someone my father would ensure that we learned swimming. I learned swimming when I was 12, which is not something which people of my background ever did. It's another matter that you fall into the pond or river and then you just jump around here and there. But actually proper styled swimming was taught to me by my father. So like that, and reading was not considered to be such a big thing for girls. But my father insisted that I should start with Charles Dickens classics. And that too, I had to read each page, and then whatever words I didn't know, I had to underline, find the meaning from the dictionary, write a sentence, make my sentence on that, and then show it to him once he comes back. So, well, not that I enjoyed it at that time, but once I started reading the books, I started enjoying them. And therefore, I was one of the most well-read people by the time I was a teenager. So, and
And also, I guess this statement that Rolling Stone doesn't gather marks is such a silly statement, right?
I know.
It actually gathers the core.
Yes. Not a whole lot of junk, but the core of each and every place. And I have great love for every place that I went, even though it was maybe 6 months or 2 years or whatever it was, but I loved that place. And whenever someone says, "Acha, main Rajasthan se hu," so then immediately I'll ask as though he's my, from my hometown. "Acha, kahan ke ho?" "Jodhpur se." "Arey haan, main to wahan pad chuki hu." Like that. I mean, immediately there is a bond that comes in. So that is something which is fantastic. I mean, Manipur, all those places, Nagaland. So that was my fantastic childhood, I must say. And I must tell you one story. Nanjunda, you can edit whatever you want. Okay?
Go ahead, please go ahead.
Okay, so my 10th standard, I did in Jodhpur. And I got all of 52%. I wasn't very great in studies. Okay. And my father was posted to Northeast. And so instead of us continuing in Jodhpur, I mean, we did continue until I finished the 10th, but then he wanted me to study in Bangalore, my college. So he wrote to the, what do you call it? Registrar of Mysore University. At that time, it was Mysore University, saying that this is my daughter. She has done this. So we would like her to study in Bangalore because I'm going to be away, so etc. So they gave her permission. So I came to Bangalore and I stayed with my uncle. In fact, that was the second time I stayed with my uncle for studies. And we went to National College and they took me and admitted me. And happily, I was going on. Then what happens? At the time when you have to fill an application for the final exam, I filled it, I sent it. There comes a letter saying that she is not eligible to do this PUC because she has not done SSLC as per the, Karnataka, I mean, Mysore University. Just 2 months away for exams, that's all. And they said that Of course, I wasn't very perturbed. ठीक है यार. I mean, for me, studies weren't so. But my uncle was so flabbergasted. He said, "What is this?" And then he went and talked to the university fellows and all that. They said, "Sorry, 10th standard is not. If it was 11th standard, that would have been, like higher secondary. Then that is different. But 10th standard, it cannot be equivalent." So he went to a lawyer. And he was called Writ Iyengar because he was very famous in filing writs.
Filing a writ.
So Writ Iyengar, we went to Venkatranga Iyengar, he was, and he filed a writ. But very cleverly, he was postponing the case in the court because he said, towards the end, that sympathy factor will come in, and therefore it's better that we postpone it. So it kept on getting postponed. 10 days to the exam. Here, I don't even know that I'm going to take the exam or not. And my entire family is very worried. I'm the only one happily reading books, this, that, etc., not seriously taking studies and doing it. And my father came 10 days or so before the exam. And he asked, what happened, and got a feedback from my uncle. And he wasn't too sure whether he wanted to use his full force to get me to do the exam. So what if I fail? Then shameless, no? If he fights and then I'm allowed, and then what if I fail? So he and my cousin, he both, he asked some questions to both of us. I casually answered. Then he somehow got confidence. Okay, we can do that. We can
push
try.
for it.
Push for it. So he went to Mysore University, and Srimali was the vice chancellor then, and he talked to him, and he said, "No, this is not possible. It's the rule." So he said, "Sir, here is a letter from the registrar. So even then, that's a mistake, but she cannot." My father was in full uniform with all medals and everything, okay? He stood up and he said, "I'm very sorry." And he did the Pakka army drama. We go to the,
border
and all that. I have gone there knowing, feeling comfortable and secure that my family, our families will be taken care of by the people. And I'm very disappointed. So Srimali said, "Young man, do you understand what I'm trying to say? Which university were you educated in?" So he says that, "Unfortunately, you have touched my weak point. I am educated in the same useless university that you are the vice chancellor." Then he said, sit down. And let's see. But you know what? It is very difficult. I think what we can do is we'll call for a board meeting, like what do you call them? Governors or so meeting.
Board of Governors, okay.
Board of Governors meeting on Sunday. Monday is the exam, okay? Sunday. And we will see what we can do, but I can't promise anything. So my father and my uncle went to each and every member's house, talked to them. They all said, "No, possible nahi. No, not possible." But then again, my father had to use his, and then he would say, "Okay, we will see." So 11 o'clock on Sunday in the meeting, it was decided that I can take the exam. That is in Mysore. And 11 o'clock next day, I get a telegram that, yes, you can take the exam. And 2 o'clock is the exam. So I go to the college to collect my hall ticket at 11 o'clock and then go to the exam. I'm very, very proud that in that I got 75%.
After all the fighty feud.
And hardly studying anything and all that. So after that, I did my BSc in National College. And I was married and all that. Somewhere in, I would rather not talk about that period of my life. nothing very interesting there. So 1967, I got married. And my father was then later on going everywhere, and we also sometimes would go and visit him and all that. And finally, he was transferred to Bangalore. He was deputed to Border Security Force. So somewhere in 1971 or so, he was transferred to Bangalore. And so we went to see him, and we also settled down there only. Okay, so at that time, I had a need for a job. And I wasn't brought up to be a career woman. I was brought up just like that, कि शादी करो, घर में बैठे रहो, बच्चे पालो. By then I had one daughter, 72, I had a daughter. So actually, sorry, he came in 74 to Bangalore. 72, I had a daughter. And daughter was born in Imphal, by the way, because my father was there, and delivery happens in your mother's house. So I had gone there, and she was born there in Imphal. I came back. And so I had to have a job. And the job that I got was a receptionist cum telephone operator in Mysore Lamp Works. That's the start of my career. While I was
think
doing that,
today's generation will not have a clue what the job would mean.
I know, I know. But then along with that, in fact, when I joined, even I didn't have a clue as to what the job would be. I just wanted a job and I went there.
No, but that job doesn't exist anymore, right?
I know.
A telephone operator.
No. And you had to plug those things in. And you know what? Next to BSF, there is a Air Force Center. I went there 1 week or 10 days before joining, and learned from the telephone operator there, okay, how do you do it? What do you plug? that kind of, I learned that, and I went and joined. So while I was doing that, I did a MBA from in correspondence, because even then, receptionist's job was not considered dignified enough for a career. And for me also, I mean, in the sense, it was boring, saying hello, how are you? All this. So I started studying. My mother took care of my daughter. And then I also had my son in 1977 at that time. I joined in 1975, by the way. 1977, my son was also born. Both children, my mother took care, actually. I was studying. And then I finished my MBA reasonably well. Then I started looking for jobs, proper jobs for a South Indian, like 9 to 5 jobs, like that. Okay. So the irony of life is what I'm trying to bring in. And I went to Hindustan Levers and, all these people for jobs. And they all said, 1967, you passed out. Till 1977, you have done nothing. And all you have done is being a receptionist. No. There are thousands of jobless graduates we can always look at. So sorry, no. Though I did the interview well. So I said, now I have to get office experience. So then we didn't have these HR companies.
And also, I guess those days there were few women at workplace, right?
Yes.
Any workplace for
Yes.
that matter.
I must have been the only one, and I must have been the shame for my community. See, women would either be teachers or doctors, not even nurses, okay? Not even nurses. Teachers or doctors, considered to be the only career for women. All my cousins were doctors, by the way. So I was like not such a nice thing for my family. So somebody called me while I was working, and I don't even know who that guy is. He changed my life. He called me and then he says, why don't you go and meet Dinesh Hinduja on Mission Road? And he needs someone for the office. I said, wonderful. So I went and met him in Mission Road. And he was in a cabin which was all wooden panel, very heck office, not giving an idea as to what they were doing. And my interview was all of 2 minutes, not even 2 minutes, 1 minute. He got my name, age, etc., etc. Then he said, "Are you married?" I said, "Yes." "How many children?" "2." So he thought I finished the quota of number of children allowed by the government. They said, "Come and join on Monday." That's all. Here I had taken, all my research, this thing, and all that marketing research and all papers and everything. "Come and join on Monday." I said, "Wonderful." So I go on Monday, not knowing what job, what am I supposed to do.
Didn't bother to ask?
Nothing. And you're talking about FutureFast. Nothing. I went there and the receptionist said, "Wait, Jagdish Hindra is going to be your boss and we are waiting for him." I waited. Then I saw these foreigners walking up and down. And behind this is, carrying things here and there and all that, to clothes here and there. So finally, some kind of a curiosity awakened in me.
You didn't know what kind of a business they do as well?
Absolutely no. I told you, I had no idea. That guy didn't ask me what I wanted to do. He didn't let me ask what he wants me to do. So all that he said was, "Acha, do bache, chalo." He called his father and said in Sindhi, thinking that I wouldn't understand. "This girl looks smart. Okay, so main le leta hu." So, okay. I kept my face straight. Then I went to the receptionist and I said, "Who are these people who have come here?" She said, "They are our buyers." "What have they come to buy?" "Ready-made garments." I was totally zapped. I didn't know there was any industry like that or a job which would, for me, the ready-made garments was, how in city market you have these jug things hanging. That was it. I was so disappointed.
It never occurred that they are made in some place and made by
Yes, I did. And then, of course, even then it was very early. I mean, it was a sunrise industry. At that time, not many people were there doing it, and I certainly was not aware of it. Then I said, "Okay, all I want is office experience, right? So I'll be here and I will look for other jobs in the meantime, and then I'll go." 3 months I gave myself. Then I went in the evening back to my father and I told him, "Anna," I used to call him Anna, "these people are ready-made garments. So then he said, "Oh, they are darjis." Okay, so that was the thing. And
These were the first generation immigrants from Pakistan, right?
Yeah.
Guys,
but they were basically in Bombay, being financiers in the finance thing.
Oh, okay. So they had come into India
Ramandas
partition, you're saying?
others who were in Bombay, yes.
Oh, they were in India for before pre-independence.
Yes. This is 1977, so they would have come during partition.
Early partition, okay.
So they were, but then my job was so interesting that I was called the coordinator. All correspondence, those days it used to be most telexes. Now I had never heard of telexes. Okay, before. Forget faxes and all those things. Telexes. This long telexes. And all would come to me. And I have to go buyer by buyer and then say, okay, one buyer says, this is what he was telling me I should be doing. Jagdish said, you will be a coordinator and what you should do. So he got the file, correspondence file, and then he showed me one long telex and then said, "See, look at this. It says, what is the status of my order 74181, 182, 183, 184, etc." So he looked at it and he said, "Get the madman file." I was zapped. I said, "Beg your pardon?" He said, "Get the madman file," very casually. Now, how many times can I ask you them beg your pardon? So I went up and talked to the telex operator that
What is a madman file?
asking for madman file. Yeah. She said, yeah, Madman Incorporation is our shirt buyer from USA. Okay. Got the file. So the whole thing was each and every point I had to do research on that as to what the status is, what we need for that, and what information to give the buyer. So that. And it wasn't easy. I had to go department. I didn't know there were so many departments. Like, if the order says delivery on so and so date, that means we are closer to the delivery date. I would go to the delivery department and then ask, where is this? He says, they all didn't like my questioning. They thought, the boss had brought someone to just question them. So they didn't like it. They would say, I'm very busy. I'm going to the customs office. I'm going to the bank. I'm not doing this. I'm not. Then somebody would say, how can we send it? The production is not yet over. It hasn't come from production. Then I would have to go to the production. And then they would say, kapda hi pura nahi aaya, to hum kya kare? Very angrily to me. So I go to the fabric department. They'll say, of course we have given everything. Only one color is missing. Like that, this poly bag hasn't come, labels haven't come. I mean, it's a universe there. And I became aware of the complexity of making just a t-shirt that you're wearing. It's not something, which is so simple. You have to have so many things that go into it. And so that's how in 6 months, I came to know more than my boss as to what was actually happening in the company. Once when I gave him saying that this order has not yet gone because of this the reason, he said, of course it has gone. And he's not, and Jagdish is one of the best bosses to have in terms of professionalism and all that. So he went up to this department and then asked, shipping department, he went and asked, kya hua? He said, nahi sir, gaya nahi hai. So I would be proved right when he would be. So I knew the business in and out, 6 months. And in between, I was called for a final interview by Vijaya Bank. I didn't even have the time to go. This was so exciting. So the colors, the texture.
No regrets. Probably the Vijaya Bank job would have got a lot of recognition from your family folk, right? They would have thought it's more respectable job.
Yeah, but in a way, that was an advantage. I'll tell you why later. Then people accepted me as a gone case. So
let her just do whatever she wants. That sometimes is a good thing.
Oh, I do anything. They'll say, Gayatri is capable of doing all these things. Even now, when I'm working in waste, is that something a girl like me should be doing? No, but
Gayatri can do it.
I'm an outcast, complete outcast. I hope none of my cousins are going to watch this. I have 32 cousins, by the way. First cousin.
You must share it with them. Hey, just want to ask you, 1975 was the emergency. You were in your first job of receptionist and telephone operator. What was you had friends?
I was blissfully
unaware of everything.
Of the consequences or what was happening. No, I was in my little world, my children, my study, and the job. And you know how I used to travel? You know where BSF is right now, even now, on Yelahanka Road,
right.
going towards the airport now. Right. That road now is quite wide and all that. It was like a small lane before. They will know.
I remember that. It was otherwise Nandi Hills Road, right?
Yes, it was Nandi Hills Road. So then I would stand there at 7 o'clock. And some of these trucks, lorries of sand, stones, and all that will be coming from the quarries near Devanhalli. I would sit in that. There were no buses to go to Bangalore. at that time. Certainly no city buses. But the only few buses that would come
So
would
you would
be
actually hitch a ride on a quarry truck or a lorry.
lorry truck, sit next to the driver, and then get down at Makery Circle, and then walk up to Makery Circle. While coming back, I didn't dare sitting next to because it would 5:30 the office would close, and then by the time I come to Makery Circle, etc., it would be 6:30. So then at that time, even I didn't want to sit next to the driver at that time, and it's getting dark. Okay, so I would go to the bus stand, take a bus to Chikbalapura, and get down there. So it will be 8 o'clock, 8:30 by the time I reached. So, I mean, these are things.
And you stayed with your parents then?
I stayed with my parents. I mean, if it wasn't for my father and mother, I don't know what hell I would be going through. I'm eternally grateful to them. So, even in this place.
By then you had already separated and you moved in with your parents?
No, not really separated, but it was on and off. Sometimes he would be here. He liked enjoying the BSF son-in-law life, ye leke aao, wo leke aao, and all those things, okay? But then he didn't like my working, so he left and he went. And again, he came back and all sorts. And yeah, that's not something I'd like to talk about. So while going back from Mission Road, I would again go to the bus stand and then take the bus to Chikbalapur. And my boss would have time to sit with me about the total correspondence only at 7 p.m. in the evening. By the time he then dictates to me, and I didn't know shorthand, okay, so I had to write down all the answers he would give, and then I had to give that to the telex operator, and she would have to send it then only, because we want all the answers to go that evening, so that next day morning when the buyers come to their offices, they will have the answers. No delay, postponement allowed. So it would be, anything like 8:30 by the time I left the office, and then going to Yelahanka. So that was my training. And then I was very excited about the job that I was doing. It was fantastic. And soon I was made in charge.
So technically you used to travel one way, 1.5 to 2 hours those days?
Minimum. Yeah.
So, and
even
today...
now, I'm happy to say, even now it takes that much, in spite of you sitting in a car.
Today, the traffic and
destination to destination, yes.
Yeah.
So I did that. I think 2 years I was in Gokaldas, Harbhagan Das, and then they split into 3 companies: Gokaldas, Exports, Gokaldas Images, and Gokaldas Fashions. The 3 brothers sort of split. And they had they had chits to decide which one to go where. Mine fell with Gokaldas, Exports, Dinesh Hinduja, the one who interviewed me first. Okay. There I was made in charge of the entire sampling section, and which is a very tough job, and also in also Europe, Germany mainly was my customer. And then Jagdish was always my favorite boss. So 2 years, there was an embargo that 2 years nobody can shift. So after 2 years, I came to Jagdish. This was sometime in 1980. Then I became head of the marketing department there. And I'm sorry, but this is taking a long time, but I have to tell this story.
Go ahead.
So there was this German customer of mine called Nienhaus and Luig. So they were very, very famous. I was making their winter collection, And so nice velvet dresses with lots of racks and embroideries and all those things. And I went to Bombay, I went to Erode, and all those places and collected all the raw material required and made the collection. Now, this was to be shown in a fair in Germany, which happens sometime in August, something like that. It's called Autumn Fair. So that's where it had to go. But then it got delayed as usual. We used to send it by air, but even then, custom clearance, this, that, etc., it would be late. So they said we will give one-way ticket to someone to come and give these things to us. And so my boss, he had a blue-eyed boy also who was called Ashok, who was working there. And so he called him and said, Ashok, you take these things and go and deliver and come. Now, until then, I had no ambition or even dream of traveling. But I had my passport ready because my sister had married a guy who was in the US. So I thought, why she was making her passport. So I thought along with her, I will also make a passport. Who knows when I have to go to see her. So passport was ready. That's all. But I had no dreams of traveling and all that. It was always the boss's
and
food.
Even making a passport was a 3 month effort, right?
Yeah. We did that. I mean, this we did much before maybe when I had just then joined Gokaldas Images or something like that. So, yes, my sister was married in 1980, I think. So after that, or just before she got engaged and all that, we did it. So after that, when I heard that, and as I said, no ambition at all, you have to believe me, or even thought of going abroad. Then I said, I have made the collection, and he goes and gives it and comes back. So I went and talked to the boss. I said, why Ashok? You go, his wife was Pushpa. Let her go. She had a brother, Captain Pandit. By the way, Captain Pandit was, Rajkumar, the famous actor.
Yeah.
His brother.
That's him?
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
So let him go. But it so happened they all had somewhere to go. Okay. So that is why they had asked Ashok. I said, why can't I go? Gayitri, it's not easy. It's not, you have to carry 10 suitcases, 12 suitcases, this, that, etc. So I said, Ashok will carry 2 suitcases at a time. I'll carry 1 suitcase at a time. I'll make 10 trips. He will make 5 trips. But I will not leave the suitcase behind. No, Gayatri, you don't know foreign countries, how difficult. I said, I'm not going to a jungle. I'll find it.
So you fought for it.
I kept following him, Jagdish. And Jagdish.
No, but if you had no ambition, then what is this fight for? Is it just that you thought you did the job, so it is to be you?
I said that if Ashok goes and they say that instead of this rick-rack or this, I want this. And so what would the price be? Will he be able to give that?
Okay, so you wanted to defend your product, your output. So you thought it's best that you go there.
My territory.
All right. Okay. Okay. So it was not really the ambition, but it's about your work, and you had to do the right thing.
Yes, I have done everything. And that. And Jagdish. And Jagdish is very clever. So somebody from Delhi sent an invitation that we should attend a fair in Japan, and called India Garment Fair. So Indo-Japan Trade Center, etc., had arranged for this, and we had to go. Now that was a political thing to go. I mean, it wouldn't look nice to the government if we don't go. One of the leading exporters, etc. So he sent me to Japan. See,
so you didn't go to Germany?
No, I didn't go to Germany. See, that's what he's very clever. He didn't want it to seem that he has given in to mine.
Okay.
So I went to Japan. And this was in July 1981, my first visit abroad. And I went, and I was so this thing that when I went to the airport, the flight was delayed by 6-7 hours and all that. But I didn't want to go home. Or to the office, because it was office time at that time, because I felt, my God, if I go back, they will say, it's okay, don't go. So I sat there only, took the night flight and changed the flight, all those circuses I had never done before, changed another flight to go to Japan. And Air India, Emperor, Shah Jahan was my first thing. I went to Japan. And first time in Hong Kong, I went on an escalator. I'd never seen an escalator before. I went to Japan, Narita Airport. It was an experience, yeah. I'd never seen a TV in my life, and in the room there was a TV. All that. So I finished, Tokyo. I mean, I don't want to go into the fantastic experiences that I had in Tokyo, because that will really drag this. It will become a book instead. Then it was a fantastic experience.
So do you ever think of writing a book, maybe your own story like your dad did, or have you started?
My whole family
at least
keeps telling
journaling?
me that, but I don't have the patience to sit and write. I like running around. Sitting and writing is not mine. I can get.
But have you maintained any journal of sorts, diary of sorts? No.
No, I haven't. But in the highlights, I can always remember. I mean, these are things I can't forget. So I went to Japan, and I was in Tokyo, then I went to Osaka, I went to Kyoto, I went to one more place. Okay, met so many buyers and all those things, and I came back. And Jagdish called me and said, Gayatri, get the accounts. Now I had kept every little yen's account. Even the exchange rates, this, that, and everything, 5 pages full. Coffee, tea, khana, all. He looked at it and he said, oh, I don't want all this. You just tell me per day how much you have spent. Now, in those days, Reserve Bank of India had a limit. For Europe, $250 per day. For Japan, it was $275 per day, because Japan was considered more expensive. And mine came to about $150 per day. So I have a feeling he felt, oh, this girl is a good investment. इसी को भेजना है. July I did that. And October I was sent to Germany to, participate in a fair. Okay, I went to Germany. And so Germany, if you go to Germany, I mean, these are Sindhis, yeah. They don't just send you to Germany and come back. You have to do UK, you have to do Finland, you have to do Scandinavia. You need to do all the countries and finish. So went and met all those things I did, and I came back. Then I became a permanent.
How easy or difficult was it to schedule meetings with all the different offices? See, today it's the internet, so it's not easy for us to write emails.
We did it on telexes.
Okay.
Telexes also are just as fast.
Right. So you first you have to plan the whole itinerary,
and there is a
send and
teleprinter.
confirm. Okay.
It's like a telephone. It's a teleprinter. It goes to them, and they will answer. And
no, but you had all the coordinates and all that.
I started with, my customers.
My okay. So you okay. Not the new prospects and all that.
Yes, also prospective.
So how would you get their databases, coordinates? How do you get those things those days? Today we just Google, but how did you get it then?
You have agents in those countries.
So connect with them, and they would share the coordinates with you, and then you schedule meetings.
Also. Yes, they would make the appointments.
Oh, they would make the appointment.
In Germany, we had one. What's his name? I'll think of it. I'll get to know. So each place, I mean, Scandinavia, we had one. Benelux countries, we had one. I didn't know what was Benelux before, okay? Belgium, Netherlands, and Luxembourg. Benelux
Oh,
countries.
Benelux. Okay.
Countries. So like that. I went around. So that's how I've done about 31 countries on the whole. So I continued being there for till about 1984. Then for my own personal reasons, I just couldn't live in Bangalore anymore. So 1984, 31st December, I moved to Bombay.
That's about what, 7 years, right? You spent here?
And then I went to Bombay.
Why
I
Bombay? I
got
mean, you
myself
had
a job.
somebody in the
No,
family there?
no, nothing. No one in Bombay. That's why I'm an outcast, I'm telling you. I just applied to, see, Bombay, there were suppliers or fabric suppliers, and I used to visit
So
Bombay.
some business connects were there.
Yes, there were.
But no family connect, no family
family.
connection.
And Ahmedabad also. There were fabric
So that's the first
suppliers.
time you moved out away from your family of sorts,
Yes.
from a point of
Yes.
becoming fully independent.
Yes. I went alone first on December 31st, 1984. First, I joined a company called Babson and Company. I didn't have 1 rupee on me. I took salary advance to start living, and they put me up in a hotel for a week. Then I was in, what do you call that? Hey, there is that place. Even Bangalore has it on. Anyway, when it comes, I will add that. You know,
so
it
those
has
days,
hostel and all that.
Okay.
For
Youth hostel, are you talking about?
something like that. Yes.
Okay.
Something like, not youth hostel. It has a Christian name to it.
YMCA.
YMCA.
Or a YWCA for women.
No, I lived in YMCA, by the way.
YMCA.
Not in
Right.
YWCA.
Okay.
In Bangalore Central. I lived there for about 1 month or so, got myself a rented accommodation in Andheri, then moved there. Just 1 room, 1 hall, 1 kitchen, chota sa, but looking at the sea in Andheri, Sat Bangla. Went there, I called my children and they came and joined. And how they came and joined is another story. I'm not going to tell you that, it was but I won't tell you that because it's going to really take. So they came and joined me. I got them admission. Everyone said, "Isko kahan Bombay mein milega admission, वगैरह वगैरह, इतना आसान नहीं है." But I'm so lucky. Both of them, I didn't even have to go beyond 1 school to get admission. For Sandeep, I mean, we have all been not very high performance in studies. So when he went for the interview, the principal asked him, 19 sevens are? Now, I don't know it. And he came up with that. And I was sure he wanted to know it. And he came up with it and he got it immediately. 19 sevens, I might, to this day, I'll have to do my mental calculation. Anyway, so they were, I managed in the sense they would come home, they would have the keys, I would travel to first to Fort for some time, and then afterwards I switched over to another job called Kanan Knitwear. And I worked there also for some time in knitwear. So I kept changing, Babson and Company was outerwear, jackets, this, that, etc. This was knitwear, t-shirts and all that. So I had to travel to Tirupur and Coimbatore and all those places.
So you travel and the kids would be all by themselves at home?
Yes. Bombay is such a safe place, yeah. I mean, I never felt one bit. And the neighbors, there is this thing about Bombay saying that they don't know your neighbors and all those things. But I had no issues. Pani khatam ho gaya hai. Those days you had to take water, store water and all that. Pani khatam ho gaya. They would go to the next store and then collect the water and then bring. And they've forgotten the key inside, and they will sit in the neighbor's house until I come back. and the fridge would have whatever needs to be. And I had employed a cook after some time. Initially, I would cook and go also, but I've employed a cook, so there would be food. They would come and have. They would go by cycle to the school. It was not very far away in Andheri only. So yeah, it was fun actually. It was fun. Then I got myself a job in Arvind Mills in Ahmedabad. So 1989, I shifted to Ahmedabad. I was the first person to work for Arrow Shirts. And then later on, there was some issue about label, the brand name and all those things. So then I was transferred to Flying Machine Jeans. So then Flying Machine, I was also into exports. So I went around selling jeans.
But tell me something, it was around the late 80s is when Shiv Sena grew in Bombay, right? So there was some outsiders did have some bit of a friction
I
with the...
didn't feel one bit.
But that was the time Bala
That
Thackeray
was the
became
time.
the Bala
I
Thackeray,
was
right?
blissfully unaware of what all that was happening. I would take the train at 2 in the night and come back.
That is still
The
in
shipment has
Bombay
to
for
go
that.
at 12 o'clock and I have to ensure that it is going. I would come back in the night. I had absolutely no sense of insecurity. I would be the one who goes to the customs, when shipment deadline is today, 12 o'clock, the shipment has to leave, otherwise there will be a fine to pay. So I go there to ensure that the custom clearance happens. Then those fellows say, this is the problem, and all that. Then I say,
And completely dependent on public transport, right?
Yes. Yes. Initially so. But afterwards, the company gave me a car. In Kananit, where they gave me a car and a driver also. Otherwise, I was in that. So I go to this customs official and then say, Ki, kya ho raha hai? Why is it that you're not? And they will say A, B, C, D, ठीक नहीं है. अच्छा बताओ कैसे ठीक करना? आप आए क्यों मैडम? किसी और को क्यों नहीं भेजते? They never had the guts to ask me money. That's why they were saying, आप क्यों आए?
So you're saying you never paid?
That's the advantage of being a woman. It's not easy to ask a woman ki paise do. They might ask other favors. That's a different issue. But this, no. So I would say, acha kya karna hai bataiye, and make all the changes, corrections, and ensure that it is gone and then come. So like that. We used to have fun, kids' birthday, we will go to, what is that place? Lonavala, and we enjoyed thoroughly. And TV, first TV in my life, I had then.
In Bombay.
In Bombay, later towards the end. And then I came to Ahmedabad, November or so. Ahmedabad I joined. As I said, I was selling jeans. Then they also put me into marketing for fabric. So Africa was my market. So I was traveling to Africa, all over the place. And then came back, and then...
How was Africa those days? I think even today, Africa, many countries are very unsafe for travelers, men or women.
Yes, it was. It was strange. But luckily, I've been, left alone.
So you
used to have problems.
You were blissfully unaware of the threat. And
Yes, I just went around. That's all. So it was that. Even for men, it was very... later on, I came to know some experiences of men. Very difficult. Yeah. Of course, there were occasions in the night, in the hotel room, they would knock my door, but I didn't open the door.
What must have been scary, right?
And also, the first time in my life, I saw that when I went to exchange dollars in a bank, you had to bargain with them as to what the rate would be.
Oh, in Africa?
Yes. You hear...
There's no published... those days, it used to be announced, right? This is the rate of exchange.
No, because their dollars and all would be bought and auctioned every few days. So depending on what rate that was, it had to be that.
Oh, it's almost like a private buyer here.
Absolutely. And the other thing was that I would be getting long correspondences when I was in Ahmedabad. We want 50,000 jeans, 2 containers of jeans. We will pay in pounds and all those things. You go there, there's no such thing as that company at all.
Even it's all
Go
fake.
to that place, and there is no building, no nothing. And I asked someone, who this person, where is he? He says he's just gone out somewhere. What does he do? He sells this, that, etc. Nothing, no persons there at all.
Wow.
Oh gosh, I mean, all sorts of fantastic experience I have had in
No,
in
I've heard of those days, even people being held for ransom. Companies had to pay,
yes,
government had to
you know
get
what?
involved in getting them released,
Flights
all these
are
kind of
like
things.
KSRTC buses. You will see women with children sitting on the floor in the aisle on a flight. And at the
I
airport,
think this is the KSRTC bus those days, not anymore.
yeah, here now you don't have to sit on floor and all that. But then, yes, then it was like that. And the flight is about to take off. People come running and climb up the ramp.
Like
Yeah.
how the Bombay
And
train.
you go and you book your ticket, etc. You go and check in. And for the boarding pass, they won't give. Oh, there's that man who is going to give. So he has a coat full of boarding passes inside. You show him the ticket and you have to pay him to get a boarding pass there.
Pay for what? I mean, is it official or it's unofficially you pay?
Official, of course. I mean, when you check in, automatically the boarding pass should come. But here it is in his.
Okay.
You pay and then you go. So, like that. It was, anyway, experience. So, Africa, and
Then you got into teaching after that.
after that, I got into teaching National
Why?
Institute.
What made you shift
No,
from?
I mean, fabric was boring for me. I
But
mean,
you
I'm
enjoyed all the travel, right? I mean,
travel,
you.
yes. But then also, honestly, I mean, working in a large corporation is not fun. Not such fun. I mean, I prefer that, close this thing off, family run company. Here it's big bosses and all, lots of, yeah, I was the only woman manager there. Senior woman manager, and in right now there might be many, but at that time I was the only one. So it's not easy. And then as colleagues, I had IIMB graduates, IIMA graduates, and I was nothing when it comes to education and all that. Mine was only talking about calm, calm, calm. When it comes to, even now, that is my problem. I mean, it comes to doing a good presentation of what you are doing, I was nowhere. These guys made such fantastic, sexy presentations. Mine was, ye hua, khatam.
But you knew how to get the job done. They were
Yeah,
presenting how to do the job.
whatever job was assigned to me, it had to happen. That's all. That was mine. In fact, when I resigned and I left, that's what the boss said. You tell Gayatri anything, consider it as done.
Which was this company?
Arvind.
Oh, that was Arvind. Okay.
Yeah.
And just bored, and that's why you left.
I was feeling, I mean, I was
But
so
by then your kids
lost,
must have been grown up, right? Which year was this?
1990, approximately 495. So 89, 6 years I was there. Then I became a sort of consultant to some people in Bombay and all that, and did some studies and all those things in the meantime. And then my daughter was getting married. She fell in love with this guy called Sanjay Maru Aguju. she did her MBA in Baroda and all that. My children then, Sandeep was got into Vallabh Vidyanagar architecture. That's another story as to how he got into architecture. That's another story. I mean, everything in my life, I tell you, is not something ordinary. How he got into that. Should I tell you that story?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh. So, 10th standard, he got 92%, my son. I couldn't believe it. Okay. So 11th and 12th, he must have taken it easy. And he got 62%. So my parents and all, of course, had this thing that he should become an engineer or a doctor and all those things. He didn't get in any engineering college, merit list mein. And some kind of a 30,000-40,000 rupees or so donation had to be given, which I was dead against. So anyway, I admitted him into a BSc. And in the meantime, I had architect friends, friends there from NID. I have even now, those friends are my best friends, apart from you. So they, even now when I go there, I thoroughly enjoy it. So one of them was Sohan Neelkant, and the other one was a product designer called Bhargav Mistry. And so Sohan called me and then said, listen, tomorrow there is a selection exam for architecture. You want Sandeep to take it? Now that was nowhere on our map, okay? We said, okay, we will try. So Sandeep went and gave the exam. Some 7 o'clock in the evening, he was to get the results. And I was sitting in Sohan's house, which was next to Sept. And waiting for the results. Sandeep went 2, 3 times, and then at about 8:30, 9 o'clock, he comes running and he says, Amma, I have been selected. I can't believe it. So you come and check whether it is real. Okay. I went and checked. It was there. Now, next day was another selection procedure of making models, this, that, etc. Creativity. Now they wanted some cardboard, this, and instruments and whatnot to make models out of whatever it is. I didn't have anything like that. So I went around to Bhargav's house and to someone else's house in the night, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and a special kind of pen and all those things I collected and I gave it to him. Next day, he went and did that.
But this is one thing about Ahmedabad, right? There, the late night is a thing, right?
Yeah, I see. Suma.
It's very, I mean, I was surprised.
Suma
people all come out
at
10 o'clock. After 10, they come out.
Yeah, no, at Suma at 3 o'clock in the morning, she would come back and my mother would say, Idenidu, higa, henmaklu, 3 ganta anta. And Navratri, though, definitely they don't come before 3 a.m. And my friends would call me at 12 o'clock and say, come here, let's have some ice cream. Huh? Ahmedabadis are foodies. My mother would say, eat time ice cream tinokobeka. My door would be open. Sandeep while he was preparing or Suma while they're preparing. Somewhere in the night, they will go and have a cup of tea and come back. The door is open. They are not bothered. They won't wake me up also. They go. That kind of safety. It was. I never felt insecure about having a Jawan Ladki and all that. These people, colleges and all, they moved in groups. I never saw couples huddling and all those things in dark corners. I never saw that in it's not that they moved in groups, but of course then formed relationships maybe, but that was different. And I had given the freedom for my children to bring any one of their friends to my house. And they had all the keys. I also had the keys. So whenever they wanted, they would come in. So this guy went and did the exam and came back. I mean, they had some very strange things like, how would under the cow, how would it look? Okay, you had to draw that. And all sorts of things. And he passed that. Now that was another shock. Now comes the interview. Now all other students had such big portfolios with their previous drawings and what they're created and all that. Our boy had nothing. And they asked, who is your favorite architect?
There's no names.
He said Neelkant Chaya. That is my friend,
friend.
friend, okay, and partner, Neelkant Chaya. He couldn't say Sohan Neelkant directly, so Neelkant Chaya. Actually, he didn't do very well in the that
interview.
So that's why he didn't get in SEPT, but he got in. Both had Vallabh Vidyanagar. Both had a common entrance exam, so he got into Vallabh Vidyanagar. My mother could never forgive me. She said, ₹50,000 advance
donation, and you should have put him into engineering.
Civil engineering the architects. Those days we never had an architect to build your house. Just the engineers. They would say, room kitchen. No. We didn't know that there was a profession.
Yeah, architect was required only to sign off the design, but it's the engineer who would do.
Oh, that also wasn't there. A structural engineer or someone would do it, and that. So that's how he became an architect. By the way, he was also planning to join the army, and he was selected. He's 6'3", 6'4" now. So he was selected, but he was rejected on medical grounds. You know why? Okay. He's too tall. He's too tall.
Is tall a problem? I'm hearing it for the first time.
No, it's not that he's tall only. It's that his limbs are disproportionately longer than the torso. It was
Is that a condition?
Morphin syndrome.
Interesting. I didn't know about it.
I've heard of this. Morphin syndrome.
Oh, what does that mean? Does it mean his legs are weak or something?
No, I simply think they couldn't find his shoe size, and therefore Morphin syndrome. They also said that could lead.
So what was his feet size?
And then my father went to the Pune Command Hospital and then said, why is this? Why is he rejected? And they said, actually there is really no reason to reject him. But if you now fight and then put him in, they will not like it. Thing later on, that will become a black mark that he had this and yet he was taken. So his growth will be. So don't push is what they said. In any case, by then Sandeep was quite happy with architecture. So he said, I'm very happy with it. So we didn't proceed. So like that. Okay. So now where am I? Okay. So
you're getting to
my
out of the job, doing some consulting. Oh, daughter got married.
1996. My daughter was engaged to this guy, Sanjay Maru. And her wedding was on 26th October or so. 16th October. Don't tell this to Suma. She will be very angry that I don't remember. 16th
She might watch it and I'll not edit it.
No. Then I have to leave by 2:15. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, so I was with this thali and all that to go and welcome the Bharat. At that time, it was a simple 3-hour wedding, all over, reception, wedding, everything, 4 to 7 finished. 4 to 7 wedding finished and 7 onwards the reception, khana and everything all done. From my side, we had only about 20-25 guests. That's what simple. And so when I was ready with this thali and all that to go, I get a call from Delhi. And this guy whom I know, I was pretty famous in this country because I was the only woman who was doing all such things. So he called me and he said, Gayitri, I know you from all that you've done, but we are starting now a NIFT in Gandhinagar. We would like you to be doing something there. I always never say no. I just said, I'm now in the middle of the wedding. Tell me whom I should go and contact. I will see. Okay, so he gave me, and fine. Now, I never thought that fashion could be taught. I thought you do Gadama Juri. I never thought. I knew there was NIFT started in Delhi. Okay, I knew that.
But you didn't know what exactly they're doing.
But I didn't think that. What will they teach here? How can you teach?
You never hired from NIFT in your jobs?
No, never. We didn't have designers.
You didn't have design. Okay.
It was
And NIFT was only
V1.
design, is it? At that time, there was no other. NIFT was only teaching design then, not the
No. They were teaching other things also.
But you didn't hire from them.
No, that was only 1 year before or so. No.
Okay.
That
it just started then. Oh, okay.
And then the second one was in Gandhinagar. So I went. I mean, I really thought, okay, ye to hoga nahi. I went along with Bhargav only to see Gandhinagar. Dekhte hain, chalo, kya hai. I saw, she gave me a list of, the registrar gave me a list of the topics that we could be taught. And I thought, seems interesting. Some of them I thought I could relate to and then do something about it. So I said, please give me the library. Is there a library is what I asked. They said, yes, of course. But please give me the library. I'll go through it and then I'll take one class. And if it works, it's fine. So I went and I saw the library. That was another amazing discovery for me. I used to do all these things and but never bothered.
You never thought it's already taught, published, written.
And, definition and all that behind that. Okay, if I said 60s, I know it means it is 60 so much thickness of the yarn. Okay, like that. But I didn't know the logic. Logic also, I mean, I used to work on logic only. But somehow I didn't know that knowledge behind this.
There is a structured program around it.
I went through that. It was amazing. Then my first class was roaring success. All my classes were roaring success. So because I would bring the practical things as to how it relates to this and all that. So it was fabulous. So I started teaching. And of course, I used to be the most, unordinary teacher in that sense. Marketing, my first class to the students, normally it was in the afternoon. In the morning, they will have design classes, which is supposed to be very interesting. And in the morning, afternoon, half asleep they would be. And I would start the class. Why do you wear clothes? Everyone. What is this? Madam asking, why do you wear clothes? What a question? Is that a question? I had gray hair even then. So I thought, Buddhi, Satya gayi hai. Of course, ma'am, we have to wear clothes. Why? The weather. I said, you really think in India you need to wear clothes?
At least not in Ahmedabad or Gandhinagar.
Anyway, if you're an Eskimo, I can understand. You have to wear clothes. But here, do you really need to? And what about Africa? In our country and Africa, is it really need? No, but morals. I said, what do you mean morals? Your great-grandmother didn't wear a blouse. Does she mean she was immoral? My grandmother never wore a blouse. Does that mean she was immoral? It's how you look at a person. Nothing to do with moral. It's only the
no. To be fair, I think the dressing did get associated with the sense of morality, right? Though your argument is totally right.
Yeah, that was more of this thing. But at that time, no. This blouse thing came in only after the British. The blouse.
That's correct. No, but today also there is
if you read Gora of Rabindranath
Tagore, I've read
that lady was excommunicated because she was wearing a blouse. So it doesn't come like that, okay? And also she had a white boy as a son, as an adopted son. So that is what. No, but then I'm saying that that's not really the thing. And then they would say culture. with saris and all that. Okay, so then why are you wearing jeans and pants now today? Why aren't you come in a sari? So, brewing 3 hours, this would go on and on and on. Then I would
Are you still in touch with your first batch of students? Any of them?
Sometimes, yes.
From your first batch?
Yeah.
Which year was that?
That's what, 1996. Or,
96.
And then, so then I would say that you're actually communicating something, or as to who you are and who you are not. Supposing you're wearing sneakers, does that mean you are a sports person? Do you go for races? That's that. No. You want to show that you're a sporty person. Okay. You wear a nama. You want to show that you belong to this community. Okay. You may not.
Doesn't make you religious.
Yes. So like that, you're trying to communicate what you are and what you are not by wearing clothes like this, okay? And your moods and your feelings, all that is reflected. And so in my marketing, you have to match these expectations. So that's how it came into nothing to do with.
How many years was it?
That
was
many
years?
66 to 99. I was in Ahmedabad. I taught in Ahmedabad. I taught a little in NID also, apparel management. But that was as a guest faculty and only for a few students who had taken apparel. And then I taught in Surat. SNIFT started a branch in Surat, so I started there also. So teaching was something that I did. Then I came to Bangalore because my father had retired and he had settled down in Bangalore. He retired in 1980, I don't know, 4 or 85, something like that. So then he had Parkinson's, and it was becoming more and more difficult for my mother to take care of him, and she didn't want to come to Ahmedabad. So I left Ahmedabad and I came because I was the only one living in India. My brother and sister were in the US. So I came and I continued to teach in NIFT Bangalore, and also did some other work like in a buying house for some time. And I did that. And I started an institute in Tirupur, a knitwear institute. I was the principal there also. This was
you started means what? I mean, you started for somebody else?
For ALT,
Okay.
Apparel and Leather Manufacturing Technology, Apparel and Leather Technology. So for them I started. Then, it was a 4-story building and there was a lift, but who has the time to stand in the lift and press and wait and then all that? So you run up and down. And something happened to my left knee. So then I had to rush back to Bangalore. Then the doctor did something for it. There was a treatment procedure. And then he said, you can't climb steps anymore for your work like that, he said. Okay, now where is any institute or a ready-made garment thing which doesn't have steps where you have to climb? None whatsoever. So I started looking around for something which was on plain ground. And a friend of mine told me that she has a friend in Chamarajnagar who is running an orphanage and a school. So maybe I should go and help him in administration and all that. So I went there. And of course, he asked me that I could become the administrator for this thing, etc. This was in something like 2004, 2005. By then I had lost my father. 2003, I had lost my father. My mother was alone there. So I didn't feel like shifting as such to live there and take a responsibility like that. And also I felt a little uncomfortable with some of the ways I was doing work with the children and all those things. But he was very well known there. I couldn't say, no, this is not how you treat children. This is not how you do it and all those things. So I said, no. But what happened was he was working with some self-help groups. That is what, excited me. These 10, 15 women coming together, saving every week, and sharing their issues, problems, houses, and all that, and trying to do something commercial out of it, take loans from that for their children's, school and illness of, someone in the house, the bank, and all those things. I really felt if we can get them together and do something, then it will be wonderful. So when I came back to Bangalore, I talked to Arvind Bangalore. One of my ex-colleagues was here, Hari Krishna, as HR. So I talked to him and I said, this is a very good outsourcing model for ready-made garments. And I made a proposal. We did a survey and all that. After some time, they agreed, and Arvind partnered me in this. So I formed 5 self-help groups, each having 15 members. Trained them. I mean, it's not so simple. We trained them in production of ready-made garments. 45 days, I trained them. They took bank loan, 5 lakhs each. And then we got the machines, Taiwanese and Chinese and even Japanese machines, and put them up. Taught them everything, special machines, buttoning, buttonholing, all. Initially, there was no cutting done, but then all cut pieces would come from Bangalore. These girls would stitch, and then they would go in a tempo into Bangalore and deliver it there. Come back, and they would get the check. It was an amazing experience, but also a challenging experience, because some women suddenly coming into freedom was a problem. They would not come. Discipline was a problem. They would give delivery dates but not stick to it. Someone died in my village, and then I have to 4 days I cannot come, and then they suddenly will take the bus and go on a picnic and come back. All these were there. And also the politics, like, the taluka office and all that, try to put something. Why have they bought this imported machines? Why not only Singer, or Usha? Why all this? This madam is making money. While they are there when we raise the bill, they are there when they take the money, they are there. Yet, I don't know, but what is happening? The girls also are happening, but this is what they're paying. Why? We make a shirt, we may pay 45 rupees. For this jeans, you get only 23 rupees. Tailors take 45. So, all these things happened, which was really tough. Then, in fact, I had to send a lawyer's notice to the taluka panchayat officer saying that what you're saying is not. And in the newspapers, they wrote against me and all that. This lady is doing.
Where was this?
Chamarajanagar.
Oh, okay. You continue to do it in Chamarajanagar. But you were based out of Bangalore, you would travel to Chamarajanagar.
Yeah, but I off and on. Yes, I would be traveling. But what happened was, I can send you the video of that. It was a fabulous project. So it became a kind of development tourism place for, all other districts and all to come and see what is happening here. Chamarajanagar had no industry whatsoever.
Correct. Actually, Chamarajanagar, incidentally, 70% of Chamarajanagar is under green belt.
Yeah.
So no industry gets a permission to set up a shop there.
Yeah.
True. That is primarily the reason why there is no industry there. And I think it is also the reason why it is one of the most backward districts in country.
Yes. So, I mean, even in let's say they used to grow turmeric and all that. But that's it. I mean, it's not that they did anything to enhance even their,
yeah, some amount of sugarcane as well. Sugarcane is grown there.
Yes. So, the chief minister.
So that project stopped halfway?
No. Then I handed it over to them. And afterwards, I think they stopped and they gave it to someone else to run it. Somebody else is running it.
Oh, it's still on. Oh, okay.
So, RDPR minister then, CM Udasi, he came to visit. He said, he saw this all and then said, Yar yen bekaru heli. Neevu bandu ond hangalnalli bandu maadi. Nanu ivaru helodella nanu namballa. Okay, neevu banni neevu maadi. He said. And the chief minister first was Kumaraswamy. He sent words to me saying that banni anta ಚಾಮರಾಜನಗರದಿಂದ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿಗೆ ಬನ್ನಿ ಅಂತ. ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಚಾಮರಾಜನಗರದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ನಾನು ಇವಾಗ ಬರಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ಅವ್ರು ಬಂದ್ರು ಚಾಮರಾಜನಗರಕ್ಕೆ.
CM came to see you.
Yeah. And met me. He wanted, ಅವಾಗ 50 years ಇದಾಗಿತ್ತು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗಿ. Okay, so they wanted in every district one such thing like this. Okay, we will take care of the funding, this, that, etc. ನೀವು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ಸುಲಭ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಬೀದರು ಅಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಇವಾಗ ಅರವಿಂದ್ ಥರ ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಒಬ್ರು ಬೇಕಲ್ವಾ, ಐ ಮೀನ್ ಟು ನೀವು ಆ ಥರ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟಿಂಗಿಗೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಕೊಡೋರು ಬೇಕು, ಅಷ್ಟು ಸುಲಭ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ಇಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ಮಾಡಿ ಹಾಗೆ ಹೀಗೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಅಂತ. And then afterwards became the chief minister. He said ಶಿಕಾರಿ, ನಾನು ಅಷ್ಟೊತ್ತಿಗೆ ಹಾನ್ಗಲ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿದೆ, ದಾವಣಗೆರೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿದೆ ಅಂಡ್ ಹಾನ್ಗಲ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿದೆ. ಸೊ ನಮ್ಮ ಶಿಕಾರಿಪುರದಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕ್ಲೇಬೇಕು. ಸರಿ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದೆ.
Tell me, this thing you are doing it under which banner? Was that you set up your own, or it was under the same NGO which was running out of Chamarajanagar?
No. Myself as a person.
As an individual, you didn't set up a company or anything?
No.
Okay.
Nothing as a person. So I did one in Shikaripura. I would go and live in their houses, eat their houses, in their houses. Their son and daughter is in Shimoga. Asha is her name. So the moment I get down at Shimoga, I would go to her place and from there go to Shikaripura. I started one. It turned out to be more like training centers for them rather than a livelihood center.
So more a skill development, as they call it, right?
Yeah. So that I did. By then I got sick of the government because they wanted Juki machines, Japanese machines to be put, because they wanted to show how much they have spent on this, etc. Well, Taiwanese and Chinese machines were good enough. And all sorts of things. ನೀವು ಯಾಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ದಿನ ತಗೋತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ, ಯಾಕೆ ಏನೇನೋ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ಗಳು. ಸೊ ಐ ಸೆಡ್ ಸಾಕು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೋತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ. Not that I left it, but then it so happened that a friend of mine, friend's friend actually, met him in Bangalore, and then he came with his friend called Manoj, and he just introduced me and talked to him. Then he asked me, what are you doing and all this. So I told him the story and came up to my teaching in Gandhinagar. So he said, wait a minute, you taught in Gandhinagar? When? He said 1996, the first batch. First batch? I said, wait a minute, he said. And he called someone and gave that call to me. He said, talk to this person. And I first didn't understand. I said, who is this and all that. She said, oh man, one of my first students there. I said, how did you recognize me? Your laughter, ma'am. How can I forget your laughter? So he immediately said, I am doing in some water, safe drinking water. I want to do it in Karnataka. I'm doing it in Andhra Pradesh and other places. So please join. So I joined. Got into safe drinking water. I started the first RO plants in Karnataka, in Kadur, North Karnataka, Gulbarga, Yadgir, and all those places I started. Because there the water quality was bad, underground water quality, having fluoride, arsenic, nitrates, very heavy. So what do I call, TDSs were like 3,000, 5,000, like that. So
Wow. Crazy.
we had to, so I started. And this was a very interesting model because it was a tripartite model. The name Nandi Foundation is what I joined. Okay. So Nandi Foundation was the operating partner. The panchayat would give us the space, like 10 by 10 or 10 by 15, a space, electric connection, and water source. I mean, after testing all water points, whichever place where we had to put in, that place, water point would be given to us. And then we would build it. And there would be a CSR fund in it, which would give us 10 lakhs or so for running and putting up this plant.
These are what? These are a paid model. Was there a revenue model in it, or it was all free?
Yes. So how it was that we do the operations. 20-liter cans, identical ones, would be distributed. In the sense, they would buy those 20-liter cans. We would give them coupons for the whole month, like your bus pass, date-wise.
Right.
And they will come. There will be a tap from the clean water. They will fill up this 20-liter can and then give one coupon.
So these coupons are prepaid. So they
something of 4 rupees for this 20 liters. And that would be the revenue. That would be taken care of. Having one person from the village would be the operator there, who's running.
So government also used to fund this effort?
Then no, it was always been. So actually, government again was quite against it and all that initially. They thought ye sab kya hai and all that. But then with Shell, I have put up 1 or 2 in near Bangalore also. And so on the whole, we did that. Then around that time, 2012, I'm coming to almost my final this thing. 2012, I was diagnosed with 3rd stage cancer. I had 28 chemotherapies, of which 16 were really horrible ones. I was in and out of ICUs all the time. And the last 12 was not so bad when it comes to the torture part of it, but it was dangerous also. I mean, it had Herceptin, which could cause heart attacks very quickly. So I had to be careful about it. So I was always monitored for my heart functions. That's what I was going through. What is special about my cancer is, as I told you, I have a huge family in Bangalore. I never told anyone, not to my uncles, not to my aunts. Suma, my daughter, was in the US. My son and my daughter-in-law were here, but they were living separately in JP Nagar.
So even they didn't know about it?
They knew. Of course, I told them. I told my mother also. She was in the US. And I specifically sort of arranged with my sister and brother that she shouldn't come while I am taking the treatment. She should be there only. So whenever I talk to her when my voice was better and I felt better. Like that. Then my uncle once, he called me and then he said, Gayitri, noda illa, yaake hing martidiya? Naan iga a kade barta idini, naan bartini ninna nodakke anta. Illa chikkappa, naan Delhi idini.
So you would lie to everyone, not being around.
I didn't want to, them to come and give me all those sympathies and Gayitri, Nobody knew. Only my doctors knew and my family, immediate family knew. So it's only after I got out of it and my mother came back that, my mother told, and then they were all shocked. But of course, they have accepted that I am the kind who does all these things. Then, while I was going through my last few I'm saying hackathons actually. It was one of the hackathons. Last few chemotherapies. This friend of mine from, Nandi Foundation, who was also into water, he called me and he said, Gayatri, now I have joined this place called Waste Ventures. They are looking for someone to do some things in Bangalore. You know what? You don't have to travel too much or run around too much and all that. So they have some projects in Bangalore with Hasirudala. I had never heard of such things, okay? Never heard that there is something in waste. So it'll be good if you join. I said, yes, of course. And I met Parag Gupta, who was heading this program. And he said, Gayatri, you know what? We are doing a project in Motihari, Bihar. It will be good if you go there once and see what we are doing. Okay. I said, yes. My doctors and my sister and all said, what is this madness? You know, you're still very vulnerable to infection and everything. How will you go to Bihar of all the places? I said, no, I'll be careful. I went to Bihar. And I spent there about a week or so. And for the first time, I came face to face with waste as an issue by itself. I mean, there were, like everyone else, I would also be walking and saying, ಏನಪ್ಪ ಇದು ಇವರು ಯಾಕೆ ಹೀಗೆ ಹಾಕ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಮುನ್ಸಿಪಾಲಿಟಿ ಅವರು BBMP ಅವರು ಏನ್ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ this is the attitude, like we all citizens have. That was the attitude of mine.
Just complain about somebody's job and not done well.
When I saw, my God, it was fabulous in that sense that it really hit me on the head. It was immersion.
Yeah.
So I came back and finished my treatment. After that, I went to Pune and to Kerala, where some really nice things, wonderful, innovative things were happening. So I saw that. And I completed Hasirudala project for Waste Ventures. Then sort of Waste Ventures wrapped up, and they said 2016 we will wrap up and go. So I said, then we should do something else. So that's when in 2014 only I came to know that they will be going. I started Waste Impact along with Vijay. That's how it started. And then later on,
where did you meet Vijay?
Oh, Vijay, I knew him because Vijay's wife, Neeta, is a great friend of mine. I know her since 1999. We were together going to one gym in the evening. From my work, I would go there. And then, so that's where we met. And we became great friends. So she married him. So that's how I knew him. And I knew he was crazy about innovation. So I asked him, I was thinking in terms of should we do conferences? But then conferences are something, which I don't remember one single conference that I have gone to, except the 5-star place and the lovely food that they serve. Really nothing else.
Probably the people you got to chat with.
That's all. And then similarly, even workshops and all that are all good. I wanted something where people come together, because the experience I had was that people worked inside. And this is not only in waste. I have seen in the water, I have seen in, livelihoods, wherever I went, I see that people in this civic sector, NGO sector.
No, I think it's a common human trait.
Absolutely.
It's very difficult for us to, one, acknowledge that there is something I lack or I don't know. And also acknowledge that somebody knows something better than me, and perhaps we can do together better than I myself do it.
That is not there.
So that's and also I think someone actually very interestingly pointed it out, that in India, I think our very upbringing happens in more competitive way, right?
Yes, in a way.
Yeah, right. You got to be better than your friend. You have to do score better.
Never stopped or tired of to foreign countries. Now you're going in villages, in buses and all that. If I told her, Amma, traveling is traveling, wherever I go, it's fun. It's
So this competitive thing is very
Huh.
ingrained. So
And
collaboration
they
doesn't come out
wear
easily.
all these nice jewelry and wear nice saris, and look at you like that. I was ashamed for her actually.
Right.
Actually, she supported me. No end. She supported me. But her expectation was like I should be like one Hindi movie heroine, you know, बर्तन मांज के बच्चों को बड़ा करना. Not like me traveling. I don't know what she had, but yes, that I couldn't fulfill her expectations to any extent.
But she still stood by you, supported you in whatever you
She
did.
still stood by me and supported me. So anyway, so that's when Vijay said, why don't we start a hackathon? Now for me, I thought hacking is like, computer hacking and all that, very negative. And he said, no, there is a health hackathon. You can go and visit that. And he suggested, he knew someone, and then I went and participated in that. It was on diabetes. And I was a diabetic, like chemotherapy induced diabetic. So it was a very good experience. And I could see how I can hold a hackathon right there. I mean, it was like a picture of how I am going to do happening in front of my eyes, and how I would change this and how I would make that and all those things. And then I came back and made a not so nice, but presentation on how I'm going to be doing it. And went to n number of institutions, n number of people. They all said, yes, this won't work. Why do we have to do it? Isn't this is an architect.
Municipality.
Isn't the municipality supposed to do it? Aren't we paying money? Why are we doing it? Don't show this to me. Waste of time. Go away. But Indian Institute of Science, when Srishti did not accept it, nobody, really. And then finally, Indian Institute of Science did it. And that's how we did our first hackathon in 2016. And
So till now, what's your favorite startup that has come out of it?
I have all of them are like my children. So
It's okay. Just
yeah, but then the best ones are one is Waste Samaritan, Jalod Bust. Jalod Bust is doing amazingly. We are now going to be piloting in Shidlaghatta with the municipality. So we've come to a position where, you remember during that hackathon, they said it didn't even win any prize, let alone or any recognition. They said this is like thrown out because
I remember, in fact, after the award ceremony, he was just heading out. I told him that, see, it's not just the winners. Even the losers can be part of 45 days.
Yeah.
He's like, are you sure?
Yeah.
Does it
Yeah,
really
he
work?
also asked
Is
me
it
that.
worth doing anything?
Yeah, he also. All because everyone thought this is a banned thing. Eradicated. Manual scavenging is eradicated. So, we have people will think you're encouraging manual scavenging. And also that, how will you get your licenses for producing this if you're saying it's for this? But now he's got maximum number of awards, international, and the government is given
No,
20.
but got to give it to him for his persistence.
Yeah, and he says,
Really stuck it out.
I've got to give it to me because I kept on pushing him.
Sure.
He still has me as an overreach, advisor. So I still connect him to people, this, that. And especially when now I'm talking to Shidlaghatta and all that, he doesn't know Kannada. So I'm the one who is talking with Shidlaghatta.
Wonderful. He once in a while he's in touch with me occasionally, but not as frequently like in the past.
And then Waste Samaritan, it's doing in 10 villages as a part of Ecogram project.
Wonderful.
So they're looking at enhancing their
Has he come out of his full-time job?
He's going to be, it's going to be over next week or so. So he hasn't been.
That's a big milestone.
I hope he doesn't. He says he's looking for another job. I said, no, don't do that.
No, but again, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, their family and whatever. So, yeah, but that is going on. Trixie, I still have hopes that it will do something. Let me see what I don't
What
know.
we should do is, Gayatri, we should share a link where there is some brief on each of them are available for our audience to look up and see what is
What
done
I'm
here.
thinking is, Inunity is an incubating organization and they work with students and all that. So
No, that is fine. But whatever
No,
is done till
what
date,
I have told her is, I'll give you all the ideas that have come in from the
no,
previous.
that is the other part. That is, there were hundreds of ideas that came in, right? But at
Yeah,
least these
yeah,
ventures
exactly.
which got formed,
Yes, I'm going
I think,
to
are
talk
they
about.
updated in the website, Waste Impact website? Is there a
I think
with
no.
a? I think
I'm
we should have them as a history of all those who have been, the ideas to venture which got formed, so that
yeah. We should be doing that. But I have been singularly.
hats off to you. I mean, yeah,
No,
no,
I mean,
don't deny it.
I really haven't done that. I don't know why I haven't done that. I have not been able to. When it comes to this technology and social media and all that, I get lost. I don't even look at my Facebook or nor the LinkedIn and all that. I am terrible in that. But you ask me to run and go and meet that person and go and this and see this, see that, and do that.
Oh, why don't you talk about your the one hackathon right now going to get started by end of this month? So
Eh,
this is the 6th.
So this is the REimagiNEWaste 6, and the theme is going to be e-waste. There is a huge informal sector which is working in collection of e-waste, dismantling of e-waste, and then channelizing to various recycling procedures and units, and extracting rare metals, precious metals, gold, all that from that. So no e-waste is really waste. But the way they do the dismantling is heart-rending. They look at, take compressors and all that and hit it with a hammer. All the gases and the things that they come out of, they breathe that. And they put their hands into all sorts of things to remove this and remove that and then take. Dismantling is very dangerous the way they do it. And then, of course, recycling. There are a few licensed recycling plants like
Organized players,
and all that, which are doing a good job. But our collection is such that they don't really get channelized there. This informal sector is more efficient in getting the collections and then bring it to their own place. So even very formal corporates as such, when they have e-waste, they call a transporter who has the license to take e-waste. So they know that, they are doing the right thing. But where does he take? They don't bother. They take it to, the next, wherever place they have, the driver knows where to go and he takes it. So that's how they do it. So this thing is that we should make them more, work safer and better and all that. Bring in some solutions for the work that they are doing. In fact, they are doing a great job when compared to the rest of the, even the formal ones. Okay. But then we need to help them, bring them into the formal market somehow and respect the work that they are doing. And then that's what I would like to do. So this hackathon, we are partnering with Comet Cares, which is part of Comet K. Comet Cares, they have maker spaces and innovation hubs in 8 places in Karnataka: Mysore, Bangalore, Belgaum, Gulbarga, and 4 of them in Bangalore. So Comet K and their member colleges will get their students to come and create solutions for society in these hubs. So
that includes medical colleges, dental colleges, and
it
engineering
includes,
colleges.
its COMED is medical, engineering, and dental colleges.
Right.
That's
So
what.
no pharma college in this, right?
But I don't know whether it comes within the medical only.
Pharmacy comes under medical?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I really don't know. I have to find out.
Okay.
So there are so many colleges that each COMED cares have. So they will
how
be,
many members do they have? Comment.
I'm not too sure. I have to get the details from these people.
But
But
for this hackathon, how many colleges are confirmed participating?
that we have not yet confirmed. We have just recently released the registration form.
So the shout out has gone to colleges through COMED.
Yes, and most of them have been very positive about it. So I am looking at 80 to 100 participants in parallelly doing the hacking in 4 places. So one is in Yelahanka, one is in Banaswadi, one is in JP Nagar, and then the 4th one is in Mysore Road. So 4 different areas. So it's easier for us to tap students who are living closer by there.
So anybody staying closer or nearest to those places can.
Yeah. Then when they register, they will say which is the place they choose. They're going to be saying.
Right. And all the registration happens through InUnity.
InUnity link that they give.
Link. Right.
It's a common thing that is for, but then since it's they who are venue.
So registration will be happening on InUnity primarily. Right.
And then, so the first 3 days of the hackathon will be in these 4 different places. So Sriram, as usual, will be conducting the immersion then from 4 different places. So he will be covering areas which are close by to each. And when they share, it will be on.
So the idea of immersion is essentially exposing the participants of the hackathon to 1, where the waste is generated, 2, where the waste is segregated, 3, where the waste is recycled.
Yeah. Dismantle. So, here there is one more.
Dismantle. Yeah, that is a second part of it. Yeah. Okay, dismantling in this context. Yes.
Also. So around that place, let's say if it is Mysore Road, there is Kumbalgodu and Nayandhalli where all this work is happening. So it will be taken there. Maybe Banaswadi, they will go to Parisara, like that. They will be going to places which are close by. And then they come back and they will share online. Like we used to do it in one place before, bus number 1, bus number 2, like that. But now it will be online sharing that happens. So day 1. Day 2, we will have a design workshop. Maybe 1 in each place separately, design workshop. We have enough of resources for that. And business planning, sustainable business planning. And also a panel discussion. Panel discussion will happen in 1 common place, and then everyone will participate from the other. So like that, and then we have problem pitching in the afternoon, individually in each place. And we will, of course, have individual lists and also make a compiled list. So
and also the team formations happen there.
Yeah. And team formation is also within that 1 group only. So normally it won't be from that to jumping, may not, but it may happen. It's all up to them. They might say that Yelahanka, I want this problem, and they may come here. That's up to them. So we form teams, day 2. And even the hacking happens separately in each place. And they have enough hacking infrastructure in these places. So the 4th day, we are looking for a common place. And we have been talking to MSRIT. They are positive about it, but the principal is out until he comes back, and then he comes back on Thursday, tomorrow, and then we have to see. if that
Right.
works out.
So the final award ceremony would be at one single place, and that partner needs to be finalized. Yeah. And in the meantime, you're also looking for some support, sponsors.
Sponsors, yes, yes. I
So
entirely
organizations.
need support.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
this time the budget is about 37 lakhs because the number of participants is.
And also, it's a dispersed activity, right? Across 4 different locations.
Yeah.
Right. So perfect. We'll perhaps this could also be a shout out for people who want to come experience it
Please,
as well.
please support, please sponsor. It will be a wonderful time. I promise you, it will be the most exciting 4 days of your life. Wasn't it, Nanjunda? Actually,
Perfect.
Nanjunda joined me only after the first one because he saw it was very exciting. Joined me only after that. Okay.
Right. So, see, in the whole course, I'm just coming out of the hackathon. So now the links are there. So please look up the links and support, join it, and see how best you can connect with this. Also, the coordinates are there to reach out to Gayatri to see how you want to collaborate on that, connect with, so that the support can be
I'm
extended.
always available day and night.
Right. Just towards the closure, do you have any regrets of anything, Gayatri?
No.
No regrets.
I think mine has been the most exciting life. I have not spent since 1975 one boring day in my life. Can anyone say that?
Right.
I have never said, oh God, how do I have to go to work today? Is there any reason why I can take leave and be at home? No, never.
So, and obviously, your
Now,
mother
and
is your
now, waste is even more exciting than all the previous fashion.
life.
You
Right.
know, in UK, they call the fashion trade as the rag trade.
Okay.
Oh, you what? Rag trade. That's all. Now I am in the rag pickers trade.
Right. So,
Uh,
rack to rack pickers. Okay. That's the journey you've gone through in the last
yes,
40 years.
yes.
So, Gayatri, obviously, from the start, your father has been your biggest inspiration. But anybody else you want to recount at this point in
Father,
time that
and you know what? My national college principal, H. Ramaiah.
it's in? Okay.
These are the two people in my life who are really, he was one heck of a guy.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
all the idealism, this, that my father and he gave are sort of ingrained into me. It's fantastic.
Awesome. Is there uh, what do you look forward to from a point of accomplishing going forward?
I just want to keep on doing what I'm doing and with more vigor if that will be possible. You know, honestly, Nanjunda, I think my life is about another next 8 to 10 years, more than that. I'm now 74. My father passed away when he was 81 and my mother when she was 82. I take it as 82 as the limit, so 8 years. In those 8 years, I would like to be working as long as I can stand. That's all. I don't have any ambitions as such.
So you're not looking beyond waste.
At present, I'm not looking beyond it. I can't say that tomorrow something else might come, say, Gayatri, this is what it is, and then I'll run. I'm a vagabond. From my birth, I've been a vagabond. A banjara.
So, what do you think? I mean, we have FutureFast. I told you about it. If you were to make one prediction, what would you say future would be like? Any area, whether you want to talk about, but what do you think it would be like?
I'm really not too sure. We have become, as a human species, more aware about environment, and we seem to be moving towards a better environment, but I'm not sure. So we say that we will have renewable energy. Okay, so we have solar panels. What do we do about the defunct solar panels? Anyone has thought about it?
We don't,
What
by and
about,
large, have a 360-degree view to things. So that's afterlife is something most people.
yes, don't. And what about even wind energy? What do we do with those huge windmills?
Right. So there are science and technology working towards
We
making
say
them more productive, but
cars, electric cars. What do you do with those lithium batteries?
battery.
Have you ever thought of it? We jump about saying that, this is alternative and we are doing it. But we really don't know. I think we as a species are
There
ignorant.
is some amount of thought given to them from a point of repurposing. The car batteries are made with a life of about 20-25 years. So first set of life goes with the most premium cars, then it goes to the mid-tier, then it comes to the economy cars, then that further gets broken down into going to two-wheelers and even to e-cycles. But what after that?
What after that? I don't know.
Yeah. So what do you think about it? I mean, do you think
I'm not being
maybe that could be a next challenge, right? So the
what do we do with
seventh
renewable
one,
energies? Yeah, good
yeah,
idea.
afterlife,
Yeah, afterlife.
afterlife of green
Actually, we
technology.
don't know what is going to happen to us after life. Okay.
No, but I think, see, we are all organic beings, right? Carbon. We
Yeah.
either even by cremation or burial, whatever,
Actually,
we are
burial is
not
better
as
than cremation, by the way. Burial is better than cremation.
uh see, with the kind
In
of
the sense
population
of
you have,
environment.
with the
Because
kind of population we have, it makes much better sense to do cremation than burial. We
you can
just
have
have so many homeless.
three tire burials.
Seriously, come on, doesn't make sense.
But at least there will be other, beings which will eat you, and the soil will become enriched and all that.
Well,
Hopefully,
we just don't have land as much.
yeah. Our problem
We
is
still have a
no. Our problem.
population is still a, so, but yeah, at least see, at least from that, but forget us, but what we use is clearly not there in that context. So maybe that could be the next challenge as well.
Yeah. Lots of challenges. That if you look at it, if you don't look
Right.
at it,
So, do you want to give
close.
any advice as a closing statement?
No.
I
Somebody
just
once called me and said, please, counsel these students on career counseling and all that. I said, I'm the last person you should come to. Because I have never made an informed decision about any career that I have chosen. And it has come to me, and then I have thoroughly enjoyed it. That's all. So I have no advice, except
no
that
advice. Yeah.
now I would say, please be responsible in using waste, buying. Do think if you really need this t-shirt, do you really need this shirt, do you really need this jewelry, whatever it is, and use it again and again and again. And also, when you throw, please think why you're throwing, what you're doing. I'm now talking like a regular waste person. Don't use paper cups, don't use straws, don't use one-time disposables, no,
Single use.
single use. Please don't use that. That is guaranteed that it is, we are seeing it happening. The cows are eating the plastics, the chicken are eating, and the fish, there is more plastics in the ocean
Microplastics in ocean than anywhere. Yeah.
than fish, and we cut it, and then we, of course, then don't cut it directly, so we don't know. Whoever cuts it will find a whole lot of plastics inside that. And in fact, in chicken and all, you will even find e-waste in it. Yeah. And we eat. There is lead poisoning. There is really, we are really killing ourselves with this. So we should not be doing that. at least what we know. There are so many things we don't know, like I said about recycling energy or whatever. But this we know, we have experienced it. Why do we have to still do the same thing? ಯಾರು ತೊಳೆಯೋರಿಲ್ಲ ಪಾತ್ರೆ, ಯಾರು ತೊಳಿತಾರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೇನೆ ಅಂತ. ನಮ್ ಲೋಟ ನಾವು ತೊಳ್ಕೊಬೋದಲ್ವಾ? I don't know. Yeah.
Wonderful. Gayatri, thank you so much. I think this is a long conversation, but your journey has been so exciting. So I hope there'll be a lot of takeaways for
Should have
people.
known. Once I start, I can't stop. Okay.
That's good. And don't stop. Keep doing what you're doing, and you're doing a great job about it.
I won't stop. My children say that, you know that you can't really bring about any change. Why don't you sit home and at home and listen and enjoy yourself and all that? I'm enjoying this.
Exactly. So keep doing, you enjoy it, and that's the way to bring the change.
Yeah.
I mean,
My
people expect change to happen immediately.
My daughter-in-law was complaining, Women's Day, instead of spending time with your daughter-in-law and your daughter and grandchildren and all that, look what you're doing. Huh? Because I love them. I mean, I thoroughly enjoy my grandchildren. It's fantastic. But still, this is my life too.
Absolutely. I think that's a great message as well for on the Women's Day, that you have everybody around you, but you also have yourself to take care of and be happy with.
Yes.
So I think
yes.
Wonderful. Thank you. And look up the links, see how best you can be part of the hackathons or initiatives at Waste Impact, and support in every possible way. And do join in, come over, see for yourself what is happening there, and be part of the change. And like Gayatri said, be responsible in whatever you do. Develop a 360-degree view to things. Do worry every time you buy something, do worry about what happens after the use. So with that, thank you. Enjoy the ride. Thank you so much, Gayatri.
Thank you so much.